Dana asks, how would you advise a young woman to brand herself on YouTube if she's worried about privacy and security for her family?
Dana, that's a tough question for me to answer because I'm acutely aware that a lot of practices that I do, I would struggle to execute if I was a woman. And definitely, like the thing that I spend a lot of time on this lately, serendipitously, I've been in a couple of meetings with a couple of friends that are what I would call very attractive girls, and that becomes call it whatever you want to call it, that becomes a whole nother variable. And so, women have it different. I mean, I'm thrilled for people to leave comments, and I know they will, and say no, yes. Women have it different, African Americans have it different, like Latinos have it different, like context out there is different. White males have certain advantages, and putting yourself out there as a woman leads to dudes being dudes. And what I mean that is dudes are jerk-offs and they're scum buckets, and it's just how we roll. Like don't be mad at us, like we were given chemicals that made us want to be hunters, and we just don't know how to handle that 94% of the time. I'm in the 6%. What I would say is carefully. I mean, I'm petrified to give an answer here because if one deems into, an uncomfortable situation for you. But I think that there's different levels. I mean, here's a good example. It is very hard to find pictures of my kids on the internet, right? And your question actually has your child in the picture. I'm not calling you out for that. I'm saying clearly you have some comfort level of putting yourself out there. This is not an answer for me or for anybody else. This is an answer for yourself. But what I would tell you is to be careful, but to recognize that people are good. The number one underrated brand in the world is human beings. The mainstream media spends all of its time telling us about the terrible 0.01% of us as humans, but the truth is, it is stunning in the world that we live in now, where everybody's putting out their information, where they are, how they roll, who their relatives are, how empty their home is. Remember when Foursquare came out and everybody was like, oh, everybody's gonna rob you because, let's put up that article, I'm gonna find it. It's put it up here. This was an article that was literally written. Google right now, burglar, Foursquare, robbing your house. Everyone's like, oh, you can't check into places because people are gonna know you're not home and they're gonna rob you. Ludicrous. You found it already?
There's something called Please Rob Me.
Yeah, please rob me. It doesn't happen because 99.999% of us who are watching the show, living in this world, are good people. So, look, I'm not giving you advice on this because I care way too much about the health and well-being of your family, and I care way less than you do. So you need to roll your way. But I will say this. People are good. And it's stunning how many more bad things can happen to you by percentage than the stalker that's gonna come to your house and hurt you. It is far riskier to drive a car than 99% of the things that people talk about around social media. So, that's just my context point, but I will not give you an answer because when it comes to family, everybody has to make their own decisions.